That song ended very suddenly, didn't it? Hello! Hello, Luke. Luke again, DMF, Xander, Traff, and Luke again. You don't need to say hi multiple times, dude. I wasn't even at my keyboard. I went downstairs to have a quick chat with Mother. Mother dearest. There we go. So today we're on Oakfield because reasons, and I'm feeling lazy, so it's gonna be a day where I'm using the Xbox controller. Because I'm tired today, as I have been the last few days. Need to say crab hundreds of times. Yes, crab emoji is new god. Crab emoji is the latest meme that I've decided is a thing. Traff has been confused for days. I have just been randomly DMing him on Discord, just a single crab emoji. Hey, Brendan. I've not explained it. I've not explained his trap. I've just been sending him crab emojis. Not explained it to anybody. Hey, mister. Please explain. Explain will be on Friday, Traff. If you want to join in, it'll be from the Seychelles to whatever island it is between the Seychelles and Africa. Buggeration, I can't remember the route now. Explain crab. There is no explanation. I just found it funny, and it's a thing now. I did not spam you hundreds. It was merely dozens. So here's the thing. I might take a day off streaming next week. Not really out of laziness, but out of I want to make sure that my glasses are actually correct. I want to go to the optician, get my eyes tested, and get my prescription updated. And get a new set of frames, because these frames are like how old are the frames now? 12 years old, I think. I've had this one. This is my only pair of glasses. And I started wearing glasses when I was like 15, 16. So these are quite old at this point. So it's about time that I got a new pair. And definitely need my prescription updated. Hello SG, how are you doing today? That's in the works now, is sorting out glasses. Which is boring, but it needs to be done because I need to make sure that I can actually see things. Hey ASP. Greek dude, hello, how are you doing today? You're not showing up at the end today. Well done. I've taken Traff to just giving people mod on Discord to see how they moderate. It's kind of a safer space because I can undo stuff on Discord a lot easier than on YouTube. Finished early today. Very good. Discord is a much safer spot to test mods because I have a full list of what's going on and I can undo it very quickly. By the way, if you're just joining, you're wondering why there's a slow mode in chat with like 20 people or less in here. It's a 5-second slow mode just to make sure that people are actually typing. Because I have in the past had issues with spam bots coming in and just filling up the chat in 3 seconds flat, so the slow mode is there just to prevent that from happening. It's a failsafe. Because Andy came in yesterday and was really confused because I had like 30 people in, had a slow mode running. It's spam prevention. It won't affect you for the most part. Quick and simple trick to prevent spam bots. Title on screen. Ah, for the love of God. I hope this doesn't crash everything, because it did crash it before once. No, it's not going to crash anything. Fantastic. Oh, why do you do this? There we go, update. There's no spamming on Discord. Discord spamming is acceptable. Because I'm not trying to do something... I have glasses. Yes, I do. I'm wearing them currently. I need to double check that these actually are the correct glasses for me. Because the last time I got my eyes tested was... I want to say it was nearly 10 years ago. It was a lot longer ago than it should be. So the plan is to go to the opticians, just make sure that everything's fine. Getting lots of buffering. That's odd. You have too many things on Steam wish list. I have like nothing on my Steam wish list. It's amazing. It's great because I have like no money either. It's great having nothing on my wish list because I very rarely get the emails. Something on your wish list is on sale. I'm like, but yeah, but I can't do much with that information, Steve. You have a wonky eye because muscles tight doesn't affect you. I do as well, believe it or not, Xander. My left eye is lazy. My left eye is a lazy eye. And it actually has... It struggles to focus a lot more, so... Will does mowers go to console? Oh, I was gonna say, front mowers in game. The rear mowers, I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can go to console. I don't know if there's a script running. If there's a script running, they can't. If not, I see no reason why they can't. City Skylines is great. What Train Tycoon games do you have on your wish list, ASB? You don't see why they couldn't go. The only reason they might not be able to go on console is scripts. That's literally it. After 6 years, still no change. Blind as a bat. Yeah, I just need a retest. So I'm gonna try and get to the opticians next week and just bring these now vintage glasses with me and see if they need updating or whatever. PS4 players can pre-order class Xbox after wait. Oh, that's a bit odd. Railroad Corporation I have is very good. Transport Fever 2. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm interested in Transport Fever 2. I'll see if I can't get myself a key for it. Through Keymatter. Because I really enjoy Transport Fever, and apparently a lot of the stuff that I disliked about it is being fixed in Transport Fever 2. Hello DJ. How's it going today, dude? Would I be a great farmer in real life? No, I would not. I don't have the patience required. In fact, after this, I'm literally gonna have to hop on Lone Oak and do a few hours of off-camera work. I haven't tried Machine Key. I might give it a go, but I'm really heavily into X-Plane at the moment. I'm in one of those phases where I just love flight simming. Doing a very long process, and kind of a, I don't want to call it a challenge. I'm just doing kind of a tour, I guess, from Walla Walla, Washington, which is a real place, and I'm trying to get to Ireland using only FS economy flights. So far I've made it over to Wisconsin over the last few days. We are on the ground currently. Probably somewhere in Spain, Trav. Oh, the World Tour is actually genuinely fun. Like, I know it's not the most popular thing on the channel. I'm aware that not many people watch it, but it's one of these things that I don't care because it's just genuinely fun. Did I ever go to India? I haven't even been to India in flight sims yet. That's on the list for the tour. Hey Traff, are you gonna do the Dublin Manchester City pairs on Friday or on Saturday? Good luck, Merle, while you make food. Very nice. But I guess... Traff, do you only go to these places that have like a million clubs? The what? The Dublin Manchester City pair on Vatsin. They're running an event on Saturday. Full ATC Dublin to Manchester. To celebrate it being one of the shortest international hops in Europe. Did you ever play GTA? Yes. I used to love San Andreas back on my PS2. And GTA 5 is okay. ESP on 2 platforms. Haha. Welcome back, Spudman. Palma de Mallorca is a really nice place. I'm just not a big fan of the airport because it's a bit of a pain to get around. Barcelona's very nice. I like Barcelona. I can't say much about Paris or Amsterdam. I've been to both, but not really been in both. I've been to the airports. Nuremberg, Erlangen area is very nice. Do I play Truck Sim? Very rarely. Very, very rarely now. I kind of prefer being in the air to being on the ground when I'm doing long haul stuff. Like at the moment, my off-camera project in X-Plane, because I do have an off-camera project in X-Plane, is going transatlantic in a Beechcraft Bonanza F-33A. Or is it the F-36? I can't remember. A Beach Bonanza. So I'm crossing America first and then going across the Atlantic afterwards. Which is doable in a small plane like that. It just takes a lot of time. Is Dave being lazy today? Yes, I am, SG. Hey, Black Bolt. Is this third cut? It's second cut, Connor. And it wants to be hay. It is very obviously wanting to be hay. I just need to go back into the other field and do a touch tedding to make sure that it is all going to be good to go. You're back playing on Marwell? Very nice, Kai. Marwell Seasons is in the pipeline very soon, I believe. I probably won't return to Marwell myself, but it's going to be there for you guys that Want to play with seasons on Marvel? I just want to do something real quick. There we go. You doing 13th cut? That's a bit excessive. Oh, you're on console, Kai? Bet you're glad the PC get to deal with any of the issues of seasons. Very detailed Twitch notification I have. It's great, isn't it? If you follow me on Twitch, you get a completely bizarre message every time I go live. Hello, Treff! On Twitch. We should get out Daddies on the console. I heard rumors for a while that Nitrado were going to get into doing Daddies on console, but I haven't heard any more on that. So I don't know if that's still happening or if it's been kiboshed or what the story there was. But I heard that Nitrado were thinking about going into it. I'd imagine that, because it's been a while since I've heard anything at all about it, I'd imagine that Nitrado gave up on the idea. Possibly due to cost concerns. Who did I play with in my last multiplayer? The last multiplayer series I did, like when I was doing it on YouTube, was it Sim and Fahy? I want to say it was Sim and Fahy. Do I know when the ploughing is? The National Ploughing Championships? That's usually sometime in September, the end of September-ish, isn't it? Hey, Massey. Mid to end of September for the ploughing. Do I think Albon to Red Bull was a good move? Yes, because while Kvyat has been performing better in the Toro Rosso, he is to the main team a known entity. They know what he can do. Whereas Albon, they don't know what he's capable of under the pressures of the main team. So as dumb as it sounds, it was a good move, even though it screwed over Kvyat. Because he's still being, I would imagine, put under consideration for the main Red Bull team. It's just that they know what he's like already. And they just want to compare him to Gasly and Albon under the same pressures. Hello, Sideways. How's it going, dude? It's in October? Is it usually? I can't remember where the ploughing usually is. So there's my Formula 1 thoughts regarding the Red Bull Formula 1 team. I'm breaking from what everybody else thinks, because everybody else thinks that they just wanted to screw over Kvyat. If anything, Kvyat could go back to work for Ferrari, and when Vettel leaves, could get a seat there. Absolutely, yeah. There is a bail limit on console. I've heard it's a few hundred. Planning is on 17th to 19th of September. That makes more sense to me. Is it in the same place it's been the last few years? This year, or has it been moved? In Carlo? Ballantrae, County Carlo, okay. So they have moved it. Calro this year, yes! Good typo there. So we got Ballantrae, Fenna and Tullow are all hosting the ploughing. That's going to be a logistical nightmare for people trying to plough. And I'm not going to open up the menu and show statistics because I don't want to. Tomorrow best place it ever was. I beg to differ, John, because I was there the day a few years ago where the entire place flooded. And yeah, that was not fun. It was enjoyable to be there, not enjoyable to be literally dripping getting into the car to go home. And then, because it was raining so heavily, the car needed to be pulled out by I think it was a quad bike pulled us out, and not the gator they had doing the rounds. Because we were in the posh car park where they had the little machines going around. Farmer's Journal says Tullow, so I'm presuming that Fenna and Ballantrae are quite close to Tullow, because Farmer's Journal tends to just say what the nearest big town is. Because I don't get the Irish Farmer's Journal, because I'm not an Irish farmer. Nor am I any kind of farmer, other than virtual. I don't actually have a subscription to any publications. Because I can use the internet. That has all of mankind's knowledge on it. Or the vast majority of it, at least. I'd just like to point out, by the way, that my glasses are in the exact right place, that I can see my own eye, which is slightly off-putting. That's in Scotland. Yeah, the Scottish Ploughing Championships will be in a different place at a different time, but the Irish ones are the huge, big event. They're actually bigger than the European. And even the World Ploughing Championships aren't as big as the Irish ones. Zebo has the new ILS frequency panels. I wasn't aware that there was a Zebo update. So I'll need to update my Zebo. Is the ploughing going to be in Waterford next year? Now, the ploughing now stays in the same place for 2-3 years, so it's going to be in Carlow for the next few years, and then it'll move somewhere else. Apparently, the Ploughing Association figured that it works out as being cheaper, and it makes sense to do all the groundworks they need for the ploughing to actually happen on just the one farm every few years. And just keep it the one area and then move on every second or third year, as opposed to moving on every year, which is why I was in Tullamore for like 3 or 4 years in a row there. It's just cost cutting. It makes sense too. Tullow's fairly close to Ballantrae. Okay. Which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing right, because sometimes Irish place names are pronounced exactly how you don't think they are. It might be Ballantrae. The folk that run ploughing pay the farmer to replant the grass crop or whatever field happens in. So what happens, Xander, is the farmer gets paid for the use of their land, and when the ploughing shuts down for the year, the Ploughing Association brings in just all the tractors that were on show and all that kind of stuff. And they just plow up all the fields for the farmers, so there's minimal impact on the actual land. As well as that, if the farmer needs or decides he wants new hedgerows put in, they will pay for that. So they'll, because they rip out hedgerows and whatnot to get the land into the situation they're happy with, and they'll do whatever the farmer decides is necessary to get the farm back up and running as normal after they're done with it over the however long. Is Andy stream tonight? I presume so. Is Simulate taking a long break? Simulate's just doing what Simulate wants to do. YouTube to him is a hobby, it's not a job. I talk to Sim most days, and I don't generally ask him about YouTube, because it's not his primary thing. It's not his entire life. Makes sense? It does make sense. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put the mowers, by the way. That's why I'm driving around like a lost child. We'll put the mowers over here, I guess. Wrong mowers. There we go. Is that side done? Yeah, usually it's they just go into grasslands because they don't need to plant down grass before or after. Oh, apparently with this one I need to... Thank you! Whoever that was for following on Twitch. Let me just open up this... Scottish Sonic! Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Okay. Oh, that's why I wouldn't lower. Here we go. Having a cup of tea? Very nice, Connor. And the tether should be over here somewhere. No. Where did I put the tether? That's where I put the... Is the tether over here? I know I have it. I should have it. I don't have a tether. Ah! Hang on a second. Did I forget to buy a tether? Because I know that I kind of swapped out my grasswork equipment at the last minute. I do not have a tether or a windrower. Aha! So tethers will go with the... This cone should be okay. We'll get this, and we'll get a windrower as well. This is going to be problematic. Problem solved. We only need to grab the tether right now. You're on your 4th coffee of the day. Oh, good lord, yes. I've had 1 coffee and I'm on a can of Coke, and that's going to be me good until I have a cup of tea later, and then I'll start on water. I'll probably actually start on water once I'm having my dinner. Whatever that is. And actually, straight after the stream, I'm going to run downstairs because my mother wanted me to help with something downstairs literally after I'd started the stream. Because I had to run down to grab a can of Coke. Hey, Link Simo. How you doing today, dude? Might actually make a cup of tea after the stream. It's just one of those days the coffee is a must. Yeah, I know those days. I'm now tempted to make a cup of tea directly after the stream. pasty feed tonight, you have to verify if it's from Cornwall, because only pasties made in Cornwall may actually be called Cornish pasties. It's the law. I'm not kidding. That's legitimately a law. Cappy, cup of tea. Exactly. We'll see me stream. Connor, I've already answered that question. I don't ask Sim about YouTube stuff. And frankly, it's a bit disrespectful to be asking me about Sim in my stream. YouTube isn't his main thing. If he wants to do YouTube on any given day, he'll do YouTube on any given day. It's not his job. It's not his entire life. His time is not kind of dedicated to it, and he's frankly not been all that interested lately. It's like I get that you want to know what the deal with Sim is. I do get that, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm trying to do my own stream, and constantly having to answer questions about Simulate is disrespectful to me. Let's get the tether on the go. Yeah, there's some cheeses like that as well. Like Stilton cheese has to be from Stilton, I think, or like made in a very specific locality. You have feta? I've had feta before. It is delicious. Feta cheese is really nice. That feta is made from, is it goat's milk? Goat's cheese feta is? I want to say it is. It's a really nice kind of bittery, soury kind of cheese. Will I be getting pigs in the future? I have no idea. I don't know any plans made for animals. Like, I'm planning on cows. Obviously, because I'm doing work that suits cows. But, other than that, man. You can use both sheep milk or goat milk? For feta? I thought that it had to be made a certain way for it to be regarded as feta, as well as being made in a certain area. Google says 70% sheep and can be up to 30%. Oh! I didn't know it was a mixed cheese. That makes it suddenly much more interesting as a cheese. And explains why it's so kind of unique tasting. So I need to TED just as far as I'm aware, and you guys can correct me here, I only need to TED the bit that is the green grass to make it the dry grass. Am I right in saying that? Or can I TED the dry grass to make it into hay immediately? Candyland, it's a good, yeah, a lot of the songs on Pretzel are really quite good. Hard goat's cheese has a really sharp taste. Yeah, that's what I like about goat's cheese, is it's not kind of bland. That you know you're having cheese when you're having goat's cheese. There's a lot of milk-based cheeses. They can be very bland and just eh. That was definitely a thing. Blue cheese is the same way. Blue cheese is a very kind of sweet but sharp taste to it. You have sheep's cheese and yogurt? Like most of the cheese that I'll have is like cheddar, which is kind of the vanilla of the cheese world. Especially in Ireland and the UK. But I do like other cheeses too. Particularly like mozzarella and Gouda, very good. Not had Gouda in a while. So I've not seen any answers. Can I just like go ham on this and like TED it twice effectively to make it into hay right now, or do I have to actually wait for it to dry out? Well, Yanis, you would say it's goat's cheese or nothing, considering you raise goats. Even after telling it took a day to dry the hay. You can only TED the green. See, this is why I'm asking. I've not done hay yet. This is my first time doing hay. I need to learn this thing. There's another dried stage after. I'm aware that I need to wait for another dried stage. That this is just kind of grass but drier. But what I'm trying to figure out is if I can TED it straight up to the hay stage. And you guys are telling me, no, that's not a thing I can do. That should be okay. I hope. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just kind of... What's the weather forecast looking like? Oh, that's really bad. There's rain forecast. Actually, what's the drying like? Plus plus. That might be our savior. We got plus plus drying. Because I know the drying is very important to how long it takes for the hay to dry out. We got plus plus, so we might be able to get hay baled. Because if it rains, this is going to have to be silage. No difference until it was left dry. Okay then, so I can't tell it again, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm hoping that the plus plus drying is going to be the savior here. Hey, Patty. What I'm going to do as well is, just in case this affects it, I'm going to leave it laid out flat on the ground like this, in the hopes that again this will dry it slightly faster. Don't think it will, but it's worth a try. Also, I left myself the exact amount of space that I need for this tether to get through. Which is kind of amazing in its own little way. Hey, Patty. Lucky lately for 5-6 years, haven't had any rain tag. Yeah, I mean, if I need to turn this into silage, that's fine. I'll just need to start the BGA up. So it's not the end of the world. It's just a bit of a pain, and more than a minor inconvenience. Basically means I gotta hope that it's dry in the autumn so that I can get hay out of that. I did play Farm Sim on console. I played the PS4 version of FS19 when I was over at Giants. It plays, honestly, like much the same on console as it does PC. I actually find the console controls are a bit more comfortable than keyboard controls, which is why I'm using my Xbox controller. Which I've just unplugged. I use this when I don't want to play with the wheel, because it's more comfortable than keyboard for me. So what I do occasionally, throw a couple of shots at the console community, I have to admit that you guys have a much more comfortable base control scheme than keyboard and mouse. Definitely much more convenient. You guys also get, like, on average, this isn't a knock to any modders out there, on average, console gets better mods. Because console don't have to deal with mods that just straight up don't work. Hey, and I'm Farmer. Console only has to deal with mods that Giants have tested. And Giants testing, while inconsistent at times, and I'm not going to pretend that it's stunningly consistent, Giants testing at least has a base level of this mod is good. A mod has to be objectively good for it to make it a console. Welcome back, ASP. Whereas on PC, you can go to literally any mod site and download a mod today, and I've seen mods that literally just corrupt save games in the past. So on that basis, console get better mods than PC. So, I see a lot of people complaining, there's not many mods on console. Well, yeah, but there's not also no mods that break your game on console, so be glad of that. Console players don't need to worry about checking log files every 5 minutes to make sure that the mod they're trying out isn't going to break everything. Downside of that is console players also can't just edit vehicle XMLs into new maps. Also, I really don't get the complaint that there's not many mods on console. There's literally hundreds. See you, Greek dude. Enjoy the rest of your day. Console don't get scripts, which is a bit of a shame. Like, that's a negative for console. But on the flip side, they also don't get scripts that don't work and break things. Like the Real Dirt Color mod. That's a really good mod, but it is not the most reliable for working. Even vehicle extension, you might notice that I don't have it installed on, or I do have it installed on Lone Oak, but I'm not using shuttle controls anymore. Landy's been talking to Wopster. I'm gonna be uninstalling the vehicle extension mod very soon, because according to Wopster, his words, not mine. You can shout at him. It's not very, or sorry, it's scary. In Wopster's words. So I'm probably gonna drop it if Wopster's saying that it scares him, because Wopster knows a lot more about scripts than I do. Swap to PC for GE, you're trying to get into mapping. Gary, you probably already do, and I know that Chai's going to probably pop up in chat after I say this and thank me. But if you want to get into mapping, Go watch Shy Wizard's videos. He knows... I would argue Shy Wizard is probably the single most knowledgeable person about mapping that I can think of. There might be somebody else who knows more. But when you have people like Oxygen David going to Shy Wizard for help and to toy through ideas and figure stuff out, then you know Shy Wizard knows what he's doing. So if you want the absolute best case scenario tutorials for GE, for mapping specifically, go check out Shy Wizard, because he definitely knows what he's talking about. And I, quite frankly, would love to see a Shy Wizard map to see what he can do if unleashed. It would never be console friendly, but I'd love to see it. Would there be any way in future to get scripts on console? Talk Sony into allowing them. He knows his stuff. He definitely does. Like, if ever I'm wondering something about a map, I'll usually ask Shy. I haven't done so yet. Much. But if I need to know something very quickly, I'll probably shoot Shy messages like, is this how this is supposed to work, or has the guy just made a weird thing? That's the thing, you're the guy who shares the knowledge. I know there are people out there who have like super in-depth knowledge of mapping, but they don't share it. And in my eyes, that's not how modding should work. There shouldn't be secrets when modding a game. You know, Giants are kind enough to give out Ludocs and scripting documentation, and you know, allow very easy access. They literally make the program you use to make mods. Why should modders be more secretive than the game developers? There shouldn't be secrets in modding. Like, once something's released, I should say. I'm fine with modders keeping secrets of stuff they're developing and stuff that they haven't 100% hashed out. But once something is out there, you know, once a mod's released, there shouldn't be secrets. Because the only way the modding community really thrives is when there's open knowledge, and Shy is really, really helping that with the mapping side of things. Because one of the biggest gripes that I've heard so many times from people trying to get into modding, Skyrim modding's hilarious. One of the gripes I've heard so much from people wanting to get into modding is there aren't good tutorials. Well, Shy was definitely helping in the mapping side. I hope somebody comes forward on the vehicle and equipment side at some point and makes some tutorials there. Oh, the US community is weird for FS19. Shy's the only one you understand. Like, there are tons of tutorials out there, but you can make a tutorial and still have it be very obtuse. Breaking it down in simple English is the best way to teach people something. It's also the best way to show that you know it inside out, is simplify it so that somebody who doesn't know what you're talking about can understand. Hello IRT, how you doing today, dude? So like, I know that I sometimes go off on rants about like mods aren't great anymore and modding is dying. It's really, I think the core of it is more people should share information. If you know how to mod, help people learn. Learn to patience and help people learn to mod. I'm doing good, Artie. What's my favourite Euro map? And I can't pick Shamrock Valley. Well, Shamrock Valley's an Irish map, so it's not a Euro map. I'm going to count Euro maps as being just German, French, and Dutch-based maps, or mainland Europe. So I'm going to exclude literally every British and Irish map. Um, and I'm gonna say it's probably like one of the Polish maps. I always love the Polish maps with the insane detail they put in. Sometimes they're not the greatest quality overall, but the detail work they throw into their maps is insane. And the textures they use are grimy and filthy, and I love them. Fischlberg. The German maps for me quite often are too clean. This is a problem I've noticed with the German maps, is they're clinically tidy and neat and clean. And I really hate that in a map. I like having a bit of grime, a bit of clutter, a bit of a mess. That's why I like Lancy Boy's maps. He knows how to make a filthy, filthy farm. And it's always, it feels more real when there's just clutter everywhere. To me, at least. I know some people prefer clinically tidy yards, and that's why they're the clinically tidy German maps. But I don't know. To me, a farm should be a mess. It should be messy. And did it ever snow without seasons? It doesn't snow without seasons. Seasons introduce the snow to the game, so it's impossible for it to snow without seasons. Rostvet is very good. Eastern European map. I never played that. Cough cough Ravenport. Ravenport is filthy and dirty. I've always liked Ravenport because it felt like a real place. I know the certain elements of the American community hate the fact that they think it's some commentary on America, but in reality it's just like, to me, a realistic feeling farm where there's a bit of a mess everywhere. It feels very rural. It doesn't feel like it's in the middle of a city and somebody's been through the vacuum before the map was started. Do you like Felsbrunn? No, I don't actually, and I don't know why. I think it's because Felsbrunn is just too neat and tidy for me. Like, there's no mess in Felsbrunn. It just doesn't appeal to me as much. I think Ravenport, of the two maps for 19 the Giants made, is the better map, which goes against everything a good portion of the American community says. Ravenport, to me, has personality and a story behind it. Felsbrunn is just this clinically tidy place that popped up 5 minutes before the map started. You know, before you start playing the map. Ravenport feels like it's got some sort of history. What do I think was the worst base game map? Can I include DLC maps? Because then it's Sosnovka. Like, Sosnovka had a lot of... It didn't feel like it was just after popping up, but oh my god, was it dull! Or the original, the FS13 version of Westbridge Hills. You might notice that it's the DLC maps that tend to be the ones that I dislike. Sosnovka was terrible. Westbridge Hills was brown and boring. Estancia La Pacho just felt empty. Again, the DLC maps always seem to fall flat, so when you're looking at Platinum, which, by the way, you can... That's the wrong link. I pressed the wrong button. That's where you can order FS19, but if you want to pre-order Platinum on PC, you can use that second link and pre-order on PC. Get all the pre-order bonuses. Get it exactly when it's out from Giants, and it will work with the Steam version if you got Steam version of the game. And you give me a small helping hand as I earn a small percentage from all sales using that link. And Giants actually make more than they would off a Steam pre-order as well. That's kind of an extra problem. ASB is... here's kind of a tertiary problem, right? This is a problem that people don't usually think of. You think of America. You think of an American farm. You think giganto fields and this gigantic yard. You try and put that into farm sim, you got a map with that's maybe a quarter yard or a fifth yard, and that has maybe 2 fields. You know, Giants, you can't accurately make a full-scale, full-size, true-to-life American map. The difference with Lone Oak ASP is that no, that is full-scale, but it is in a place that has smaller fields. If you're making a Midwest map, like Corn Belt, we'll say, then you're looking at maybe 2-3 fields for a map. And it's only exaggerated when you go to Australia, because I see so many people from Australia where they say, oh, I'd love to see an Australia map, and the only reply I can give to that is, okay. And exactly how scaled would it be? Because Australian fields and farms, you'd get a yard and a field on a true scale Australian map. Maybe 2 fields if you're lucky. Welker Farms. The problem with Welker Farms for me, and this isn't a knock on, this isn't a slight on Mapper's Paradise, it's just, you'll see where I'm going with this. It's not a very good map. Not down to what Mapper's Paradise did with it. I think they did a very faithful recreation of the farm in Farm Sim. The problem isn't the way that it's in the game. The problem is the actual area that it's based on. It's a very, very dull area. It's not very... There's no real terrain to look at. I mean, you look at Oakfield, there's rolling hills and interesting shapes going on, and Welker is very, very flat. Which is great for farming, because you can... You know, a flat field, you're going to have the same moisture content throughout, for the most part. So you can very easily manage your fields. But while it might be great in real life, it's not very good for Farm Sim because it just ends up being extremely boring. That's a Polish map, Connor. I said I like Polish maps in general. It's just, they're always nice to play. So, I appreciate what Mapper's Paradise did with Welker. I just don't think it's a very Farm Sim friendly map because the area is... And Landy has the same problem with Welker. It's like, I'm sure it's a very good map. I'm sure it's very well made. It's just not interesting at all. I like maps where there's kind of challenge brought in from the terrain. Not just, here's a giant flat slab, do things. How very boring. Bjornholm's your favorite? I always, and it's for purely nostalgic reasons, I always loved Hagenstedt. That was the very first map that I played in Farm Sim back in FS13, and I remember vividly in FS13 just continuously coming back to Hagenstedt. That was the map for me in FS13. Until I found a British map that I've just realised you can't actually get anymore because it was on FS UK. My favourite map from FS13 is gone, and it wasn't whatever the NI modding map was. Oh, the Kansas map was really good as well. I played the crap out of the Kansas map. That was during my period where flat was great. Flat and square was great because I was just spamming hired workers and courseplay for everything. Right. We can, in theory, I think, do some harvesting. Just want to double check this. Growth. Oh, we can't! Do we have weed issues over there or something? No weed issues. It's fully fertilized. That's not fully fertilized. Hang on a second. What can I pop care wheels onto? I can totally pop care wheels onto the Axion. I need to stop using manual touch as well, because it's quite annoying. Spring Hill, thank you, John. Yeah, never got on a Spring Hill. Let's pop some care wheels onto our Axion. Wrong button. Customize. I think I can put care wheels onto this. Oh, I can't. Right, you're not doing the spraying then, Axion. I'm sorry. Can I put care wheels onto the two-wheel drive T6? Because that'd be kind of hilarious. The old series of Dr. V, yeah. Which I watched religiously until I was invited on. I legit was watching that series when, was it you or Dr. V got into contact with me? He was like, hey, do you want to join in for an episode? Like, sure, I've been watching the crap out of the videos anyway. Okay, can't get Midas care wheels. Can I get Michelin care wheels? No, why would you want wide tires? Can I get, no. Can I put... I just want... Ah, narrow tires. Fantastic. We'll need a warning triangle now to warn everybody within about 6 miles that I have found care wheels for a tractor. Until it was my... I never watch my own videos. So I didn't watch the one I was in. And I think shortly afterwards I kind of burnt out of Farm Sim for a bit. So I stopped watching videos. I really hope that this little New Holland can deal with this. Yeah, Farm Sim is a very easy game to burn out of. Hey, David. Because you can play a million. This is full of herbicide. I've just realized. Hang on a second. I do not need herbicide. I need fertilizer. Do I have any fertilizer in storage or anything? Like liquid fert would be amazing. Do I have liquid fert? Not gonna tell me. Is there liquid fertilizer anywhere, please? Is there some at the shop? Maybe? I'm gonna have to go to the shop anyway, so. Am I not making hay? I'm now waiting for the hay to dry, David. So, we're in a period where I'm just effectively filling time. Just realized that I do have fertilizer. It's over here in the Infinite Spring. Hey, SRF. I did actually, ASB. I wasn't aware of that. Liquid fert, please. Never noticed before. I wear them sometimes, and it's usually on days when I'm feeling a bit blind. Today's one of them. And, I was talking earlier, Seraph, you might be seeing me wearing glasses a bit more, because I'm planning at some point next week on going to the opticians. And getting my eyes tested, and it might turn out that I actually should be wearing them full time. And if I do need to wear them full time, it'll be a brand new pair. Because these glasses are 12 years old, and they don't really make lenses for these anymore. So I'll probably have glasses with a bit more of a thick rim on them. A bit more hipstery. So 3 is fully fertilized, 1 and 2 need another layer. So we'll go up to 1 and 2 first. Yeah, so apparently, according to ASP and his investigations, fertilizer or herbicide only works if you haven't got the area fully fertilized. Which is an interesting, weird little thing, but okay. Just get this unfolded. I've fully zoomed out, by the way, so I can see where I've already laid fertilizer down. It is unfolded, you get. Every time with this sprayer. Still works, it just doesn't make the ground look dark. See, the problem is, it doesn't match what I was seeing, because it wasn't that the herbicide wasn't going down, it was that some areas had already been registered as having herbicide. This is my favorite thing to do in FS19, by the way, is drag a sprayer through like a field and watch the crops bend. Because the animations are really, really nice. You probably wouldn't do this in real life in a cornfield like this, but it's kind of cool to do regardless. It still comes with weeds. The problem is, what I was seeing was herbicide already down on certain areas. So, I don't know what's going on there. Up the bottom of the sprayer. This is as high as it goes. Just stop and start breaking off or on. Off. I hate it. I cannot stand it. Also, I like watching the crops bend. So the sprayer stays down a bit. I care not for your realism, I care only for what looks pretty, and this looks pretty. Therefore, it is what I will do. Does seem to be breaking the animation slightly, though. Could you imagine seeing this in real life? Just the top of a New Holland going through a field. Just like looking into a field and only seeing the very tippy top of the roof of a tractor. Oh, that's hitting the side of the map, which is just a tiny bit closer to the edge of the field than I thought. There we go. I care for realism insofar as I'm using seasons. I don't care for it insofar as I like watching the crops do a bendy spring. Giants put the effort in to make that animation, therefore I will make that animation happen. This is the way that I look at it. You know, somebody went to great effort to put that animation into the game. I don't want to let their work go to waste, so that this animation is happening, and it's very pretty indeed. When is... Restream chat? Come on, restream chat. When seasons come to console? When it's ready to come to console. I would imagine, David, you're going to be looking at, in terms of time frame, based on zero information, so don't take this as gospel. Do not take this as gospel. I would imagine you're looking at a time frame probably in or around platinum dropping. So at a guess, because the game will need a patch and Giants are going to want to minimize the amount of patches they actually send out to consoles because people scream every time there's a patch. At a guess, sometime in October would be my guess. And that's kind of like an early guess. 100% before Christmas. But I would guess sometime like late September, moving in towards October for seasons on console. Greek Dude's made his return. Like the Night Sector Star, yes. Welcome back, Greek Dude. But for people who aren't usually here when Greek Dude is, he genuinely doesn't mind being called Greek Dude. I asked permission to call him Greek Dude. Because I can't read Greek. I wish I could, but I can't. Also, I'm really bad at remembering names, so it's better to call him Greek Dude than butcher his actual name. That's interesting. Hang on, I want to show you guys something. Can you see... Yeah, look at that. Right here, the terrain and crops are doing something weird, and it's like popping in twice as much crop as it should be. It's a bit more obvious from the sky. There's got lines where there's more crop than there actually should be, where the textures aren't popping in correctly. I was wondering why sometimes the sprayer wasn't working. I'm guessing it has something to do with the hill. Do I speak any languages? No, I cannot speak any languages at all. Right now I'm just speaking complete nonsense that happens to be similar to English. Oh, hang on a second. It's nothing to do with the hill. The sprayer is spawning in extra textures for some reason. Oh, this has to be a multi-terrain angle bug. English is complete nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, this is a multi-terrain angle bug that I've never seen before. It's screwing up the crop textures. That's really odd. It's like making tram lines of screwed up crop textures. In terms of like where they're placed. I didn't know this was a thing that was possible in the game. Huh. Like if you look at where the crops aren't bending, the textures are kind of way too close to each other. It's actually popping in extra corn stalks in areas. And I have no idea why, but it is doing that. It's an interesting issue with multi-terrain angle for sure. Can't I raise the boom? I mean, I can raise it up to here, but it's... Yeah, that's not solving the problem. It's nothing to do with the animations, it's something to do with either the sprayer itself, which is unlikely, or multi-terrain angle, which I think is a bit more likely. That is really interesting. It might be something to do with seasons too. But I've never seen that happen before. Or definitely never noticed it. So yeah, it's making clear, like, divots in the field. That's really weird and interesting. See, now I'm learning something and I'm kind of curious as to whether or not I can use it for... Yeah, it's nothing to do with the boom height. It's just doing it regardless. Better paddle physics. Better paddle physics would be nice. Expansion upon animal mechanics would be brilliant. Having a reason to do forestry other than sell wood would be nice. Like maybe produce it. Maybe I know that I complain about kind of factory stuff, but maybe you could produce your own pallets or something. In FS21, but I'd like to see expansions on mechanics. Gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. Seasons would be nice too. Seasons in the base game, I mean. I think as it stands, Seasons is more or less ready to go in base game. And you could have like toggles for the various animal mechanics that happen. Yeah, multi-terrain angle's definitely doing something weird. Maybe it's because it's fully fertilized, but that makes no sense. Orchards would be fantastic. Like, orchards are now kind of... Myself and Landy in particular, has been bugging Lars. He's been bugging giants. I hate crop destruction. If they improved that so that it made sense, I'd use it, but it just doesn't make too much sense. It's a bit too janky in the way that it lays down the destroyed crop. Global company I like. The global company mods that are out so far, like the seed maker, the silage fermenter, and even the pig food mixer that I saw. That's on the S mods. I'm fine with those. Yeah, it destroys way more than it should, Greek dude. Hey, CD. By the way, Shy, have you ever seen this happening before where I'm guessing it's multi-terrain angle, but it might be seasons, is messing with the crop densities? Like, it's not just me, it is actually leaving small, like, weird crop densities behind, isn't it? Like, you can see here, here, and over here, there are lines in the field from the crop density being screwed with. You mean a snow melter? That's kind of cool. There's definitely something screwy going on with this sprayer, or Seasons, or MTA. Because I don't have crop destruction turned on. Heard of Fly Live Studio? Yes, I have. I have no idea how it works. Bounty Hunter, I've done that too many times with streams. I have a really bad habit of doing that. When I'm like, especially if I'm on TeamSpeak, I'll just like pause the stream and then unpause it when I'm done talking or whatever. And suddenly I've missed like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, this wasn't a video, was it? This wasn't a video. Now I've taken to just muting. This might be an oddly, like, a really weird specific issue with the equipment that I'm using on the job that I'm doing, but there's definitely something screwy going on here. I like it. but I'm not entirely sure what it is. You don't use multi-terrain angle. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the animations for the crops bending are kind of getting stuck. I mean, I wonder if this is intentional from Seasons, actually, because it's helping me to spray, because I can see where the edge is. Like, not from the tractor, but from here. I wonder, is this a feature, not a bug? But it looks like the animations are kind of getting stuck in some spots. I'm fine with it because it looks really nice and realistic, but it's just weird to see in Farm Sim. I can make you an overlay, Traff. There are no bugs, there are only features. It's like the gaming version of Bob Ross. There are no mistakes, there are only happy feature additions. There are no bugs, there are only happy additional features. I can make you an overlay, Traff. Little square with a few curves at the edges. Okay, I'll make it special for you. Call sign, altitude, and whatnot in the box. Got it. Question is, Traff, do you really trust me after the stunts that I've pulled making you things in the past? Not really, no. That's probably the correct response, to be honest. Oh, I've got this immediately stuck in a tree. Come on, get out of the tree. There we go. What did I make from... I made him a beautiful 737 skin. That didn't work. I couldn't figure out how to actually get it to load into game. It was very colourful. It was intended to be very colourful, it ended up just being blank. Hey James. It is hard, but like the two skins that I've made for myself that have worked are actually quite good. I want to make a new one for my Bonanza. That has the N number that I actually have in FS Economy. Do I use tan? What? I am about as white as a sheet of paper, Connor. I definitely do not use tan. Well, I texture for X-Plane, obviously, ASB. And it's difficult. It's not easy. I will say though, the base level or the general level of freeware for X-Plane is much higher than the general level of freeware, in terms of quality at least, for FSX. Because FSX freeware is usually just the laziest job anybody can ever do. Whereas X-Plane has Zebo, for goodness sake. X-Plane freeware has Zebo, which is better than PMDG's 737. Paid library's too big to run. Yeah, I was in the happy medium where I had a paid library, but it was still quite small, so I was fine abandoning it. Now my paid library for X-Plane is too big to abandon. I've bought quite a lot of X-Plane payware, and it's not worth me abandoning it, so I'm gonna stick with X-Plane. Because at least if and when X-Plane 12 comes out, the X-Plane 11 stuff should be compatible still. Have you signed up for the beta program, ASB? For the new Microsoft Flight Sim? Because I have. I want to try that. I want to do a try before you buy. No? Dude, go to... Is it flightsimulator.microsoft.com or something like that? They've got beta sign-ups. And they openly say 100% guaranteed to get into beta at some point. So sign up for the new Microsoft Flight Sim betas, because at least then you can like see what the flight model's like and see if you like it. If you don't, you can always go with P3D. Do I like trains? Not as much as I like planes. Planes are my jam. Trains, I don't know, they just don't interest me as much. I like making train routes on Transport Fever because they're hilariously fun to do, but I'm not a big fan of trains and I don't really know what trains do what. Check PMs, I will after the stream traf. I am gonna check during the stream. That weird texture issue thing was only happening with the corn, as it seems. Which only furthers my suspicions that there was something screwy going on. Do I like go-kart trains in FS17? I never liked the trains in Farm Sim. Did I want to be a pilot when I was a kid? No. I always wanted to go into science, but now I'm kind of... I'm quite, I guess, late in life realizing that planes are really where I'd love to be, and the problem is it costs something like 78,000 euro to get into a pilot program for Stobart's one anyway, because I've looked up prices for that, and it's just not something that I can afford to do. As much as I'd love to be a professional pilot and fly, you know, something like the ATR, big turboprop, it's not something that's affordable and viable. Maybe someday I'll be rich and be able to afford to have my own, like, small plane, like a Cessna or something. I could fly places, but nah. It's just expensive to be qualified to become a pilot anywhere, sideways. In America it's a bit easier because they got so many regional airlines that just constantly want new pilots. 78,000 euro, yes, you heard correctly. 7, 8, and then 3 zeros. Going through my notifications on my phone in a very efficient manner. There we go. Could buy a house with that? No, you could not in Ireland. Yeah, not everybody's gonna get every build, which I kind of... You wouldn't expect them to do that. You wouldn't expect them to give everybody every preview build. But, I mean, at least getting your hands on it at some point to feel what the flight model's like, because they can't really tweak that too much in the middle of development. And that's really what... the important bit of the sim, like graphics can always be modded in. But the flight model is, for the most part, set in stone. There we go, bird watching. Connor, what's with the weird questions, dude? You've not really been engaging with in chat at all. You've just been asking me weird random questions. And oh my god, look at the mess I'm making of this field. I maybe should have used GPS. I don't mind people asking me questions, but like, you've done this more than once where you've just asked bizarre questions incessantly, and I don't know why. I don't know why you keep doing it. Because every time you do it, I say, dude, what the hell, why are you asking me so many questions? I don't mind people asking me questions. I really don't, but... It's the, incessant and just completely irrelevant to the topic of conversation nature of all the questions that irks me. Let's see what Traff sent me. He has sent me a blank picture. Well done, Traff. You sent me a picture of nothing. Yes, you did. It is blank. Hello, John. How you doing today, dude? I wish there was a better minimap mod for 19. Can somebody please get on it? Like, that would be amazing, but I don't have the skills to do it. If somebody knows how to make a mod like that, it would be very much appreciated. Because it's blooming annoying having to pop the minimap like this constantly. You mean the big black bar at the top that doesn't do anything visually? Because I have two ideas for what I could do for an overlay for you, Traff. One of them is stupid, one of them is serious. There's one for 17. I know, that's why I want it back. I do legit, by the way, Traff, have a serious idea for what I could do. But I am going to make the dumb one first. For my own entertainment. One thing that I think Farm Sim needs is some sort of visual indicator where it's sprayed already when you're in the field. Seems fair to you. I can send it to you as well, ASB. Well, a silly one at least. Do. Okay. I might make it tonight. Actually, I will make it tonight because I plan on doing scribbles tonight anyway. So that could be a warm-up exercise. Is the dumb idea. The dumb idea can be my warm-up, and then the serious one can be my secondary warm-up / actually doing something. Because I do have, I think, a few things I need to scribble tonight. So that's 1 and 2 done. We now need to head over to 2425. I've just realised that the actual way out of the field is up there, so I'm just going to skip through here. We now need to head up to 2425. What I'm going to do first is refill the sprayer. We won't get it done today. Just looking at the time, Landy's going to be starting up in a few minutes. And yeah, it'd be cool to implement something like that into the game. They might, who knows? But you know, there's something a bit missing. You do not want to use the primary overlay design that I have planned for Traff, trust me. You love playing Farm Sim while listening to streams? Honestly, like I really enjoy using streams as kind of podcasts. Because you can get something done and you've at least got something to listen to. It's like there's nothing worse than doing something like playing a game or something and it's just dead silent because you're just bored. Just bored. Whereas, like, if you're watching a stream, or if you got a stream on in the background or on a second screen, if you've got one, you at least have somebody shouting in your face. Fan streamers, that's a general thing the streamers do, is just scream everything. That still looks like it's just dry grass, which is not exactly surprising, but frustrating. Also, I seem to have got the new hands to... Hang on, what's gone on here? What happened? No, that's the wrong way. It's down this way I need to go. What's going on with it? It's stuck in a tree, but I'm not entirely sure how. Into Manchester Airport plane spotting yesterday, you sad, sad individual. Listen to a real podcast? I do occasionally listen to real podcasts when I can't find a stream that I want to watch. But I tend to have such wide interests that I can not always, but at least usually find a stream that fits my interests. And no disrespect to MN Millennium Farmer, but on a general basis, farming isn't one of them. When I'm listening to podcasts, it tends to be more history-based podcasts. For example, the one that I'm listening to at the moment is... just realised I can't say... Yeah, I'll say the name. It's not a PG name, but it's the name of the damn podcast. It's called Behind the Bastards. And it's about... basically about, like, these terrible people in history. Hitler, Stalin, Bill Cosby. Not kidding. And just the weird stories that you don't really get in the history books. Like how for several years the Soviet Union under Stalin was run by a group of drunks. Because he just kept throwing these incredibly lavish parties every night and insisting that everybody went to them. And just fed everybody copious amounts of alcohol constantly. And this was the Soviet government. Is it on Spotify? Yes, that's where I found it. And that Hitler was a farting hipster. That was their pilot episode. Their episode 0 was about hipster being a farting hipster. And it was hilarious. It's a comedy-based podcast. I should mention that. Have I ever seen the Absolute Mad Lad series on YouTube? I don't think so. Sawbones, Salvation and Husband. Oh god, old-timey doctors are the worst. For somebody who's interested in medicine and has a degree in science, it's really frustrating to hear what people thought was a good idea hundreds of years ago. The worst for me is the whole leeches thing. Like, oh my god, no. No, that's a terrible idea. You're just asking to give people bloodborne diseases. No. The funny thing is, I'm gonna give them this. Cocaine is actually a really good painkiller. Cocaine is actually a really good painkiller and anesthetic. It's still actually used today as an anesthetic. So cocaine is used... No, I'm thinking of literal cocaine. It is used as an anesthetic in eye surgeries. Eye surgeries use cocaine as the anesthetic. Granted, most of them are opioids, but cocaine itself is used medically still. You see, ASB, here's the thing. They've taken it into their bloodstream. The way cocaine is used in a medical situation is topical. It's put onto the eye and it just numbs the nerves around the eye. It doesn't go into the bloodstream. It's once it's in the bloodstream, then it becomes problematic cocaine. But if it's used topically, or as part of a solution, it is not actually a big problem. In fact, it solves a lot of problems. Same as... It is actually used for nasal surgery as well, yes. It's used topically for nasal surgery too. You see that? There's the difference between a lab medicine dude in me and a field medicine dude in ASB. He gets to deal with the problem people. I get to know what the good things are. I can also tell you guys from experience that chloroform smells horrific and that ether smells really nice. And ether turns you into a giggly mess, I should say that. It is a very good relaxant and anesthetic because one day in a lab in college we were using it for actual scientific purposes and somebody left the fume cover a bit open and ether got out into the air and the lab ended with everybody giggling because we had all come slightly under the effects of a genuine quite strong anesthetic. In the form of ether. Chloroform just gives you a headache. ASB is just sat there face palming like, this is what the science side of medicine is. People leaving fume cupboards open so that ether gets out and just dealing with chloroform headaches. Yeah, ASB, like, you're dealing with the guys that are extreme on cocaine. It's the same as extreme amounts of alcohol, effectively. In small doses, it is very useful medically. But in large doses, it does start causing issues. It's also highly addictive, which is entirely the problem. I don't think you have. Yeah, I knew that much. I knew full-time ambulance, part-time fire. I didn't know you'd actually change jobs slightly. Full-time life flight, mobile ICU, part-time fire. Well, that's why you're dealing with the people. That's why you think cocaine is terrible, because the people that you need to see have done way too much of the damn stuff. Medically, it's useful in very small quantities. Medicinal use of any opioid is very good in small quantities. Overuse, as the public generally tends to do, is not so good. Medically. In fact, overuse is medically terrible. By the way, is Landy live yet? Because he should be live by now. Just spotted the time. I've got nothing on my phone saying he's live, so I'm guessing he's not. But I'm seeing people leaving, so I'm guessing he might be. Also, I would be very interested in seeing the aircraft. I have become an aircraft nerd. Ten past? Oh. Something's not going according to plan if he's scheduled for 10 past. Whenever Landy schedules for 10 past, it means something's gone slightly wrong in his plans. Because he always plans to be live at 7. 2 Dolphins. They're Airbus former Eurocopters, aren't they? Because Airbus bought out, I think it was Eurocopter. Airbus bought out. Yeah, they're sweet. Now, Augusta Westland are just good helicopters. I bet you'd love to be one of those flying doctors in like Central Africa or something. Just getting to mess around with the Cessna all day. Because even on a bad day as a flying doctor, you get to play around with a Cessna all day. Dolphin better, bigger, have a higher lift weight. Well, the Airbus helicopters as they are now, they've always been kind of designed around just lifting pretty much everything you need to lift around Europe. Augusta Westland tend to be more... I want to say streamlined in terms of what they can do. Streamlined in this context meaning limited. Airbus, like with the planes, designed for basically everything to happen with them. Landing's going live. Just want to double check that that is true. I don't distrust you, John. I just... Oh, he is. Ooh, Captain Canada's live. So that is going to do for today. I'll be back tomorrow with probably some Lone Oak. Hey, that's the thing with Augusta Westlands. They look pretty, but they can't do a whole hell of a lot. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with Lone Oak. Some more insanity. I'll fix the logo, because Sim and Lanny pointed out to me that the logo on the thumbnail was basically invisible. So I'm going to be doing some testing of stuff tonight. With an unlisted video and some of my mods in Discord, or maybe the guys in TeamSpeak. I don't know. But that is going to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, stay safe. And goodbye.